Can we still trust Tanner Leatherstein? In this video, I want to react and break down this video from Tanner Leatherstein. You probably watched, like many of you, giving his opinion about the luxury China scandal and if luxury bags are already made in China. I have been extremely disappointed by this video. I expected much more from Tanner Leatherstein, and I'm going also to explain why I am still questioning the trust from handbag experts. Nice to meet you guys. I'm Alice, I'm French, I live in Paris, and this channel is all about Parisian French style handbags and luxury. Do not forget to check below all my handbag playlist. I've been the first on YouTube to review new mid-luxury handbag brands. But let's start the video with a quick introduction of who is Tanner Leatherstein. If you are an handbag lover, you probably know this guy and you probably watch many of his handbag reviews. Tanner Leatherstein is what we call a Tanner. Tanner Leatherstein gained a lot of fame online with his rip-off handbag challenge. When he usually choose a brand, an handbag brand, deconstruct and rip off the bag. Usually he also breaks down all the production costs, and at the end of the review he also make a statement about the quality, about the bag. What is very interesting about Tanner Leatherstein is the fact that he brings an insider opinion, an insider review. It was very new at the time, but someone who is inside of the tannery process, inside of a leather business, really made an opinion about the brand, about the bag. So let's start to break down this video. Let's start to break down all the arguments Tanner Leatherstein is using, but I found very misleading. And to be honest, I've been extremely disappointed by this guy. I expected much more from him, especially from someone who is inside the business, for someone who is breaking down so much handbags review, breaking down all the costs, for someone who really knows what's going on. So I am questioning the expertise, the independence maybe of Tanner Leatherstein, and again, this is my opinion, Alice's opinion. But I will be very interested to know what you think below the video.
A wave of creators claiming that 80% of luxury goods are made in China, ending with a call to action saying that why not buy directly from us at 10% of the price. Sounds too good to be true, right? That's because it is.
And now comes the biggest argument, and probably the most misleading and the most interesting argument from Tanner Leatherstein. Let's start with the first one. So it states that luxury brands do not need to produce in China because it doesn't make any economic sense.
Why wouldn't they just go to China? Here's why. It doesn't make economic sense. The leathers used in high-end bags, it's all European origin. Shipping it to China, manufacturing it there halfway, and then shipping it back to put made in Italy label, is probably much more expensive than making the whole thing in Europe. Last month I did a research. I visited factories in China. I gave them 2 of my oldest and best-selling designs. And here are the quotes I got from them. For my passport wallet, they gave me $12.60, and for my portfolio cover, that's $33.90. In Spain, I paid $13 for this, $5 for leather, $8 for labor. For this one, we pay $12 for leather, $22 for labor, adding up to $34. So they're almost identical.
This argument is so misleading. It's so misleading. I am very glad that some of you also find it super misleading, and you also mention it below his video. It is something that we all know in business, and he probably knows in the supply chain world. It is what we call the volume pricing. Volume pricing is a pricing strategy in which an item's price per unit decreases as the purchase quantity increases. So when you compare the cost of production made in China to the cost of production made in Spain, it missed the whole point of volume pricing. And I cannot believe, like in any common sense, I cannot believe that producing the bag in Spain is only 0.40 cents higher compared to China. I found it so hard to believe, like, why many, if not all the brands in the world are producing in China and not in Spain? No, this is really a question. Why the entire world is producing in China and not in Spain? And second, when you produce in China, they make a huge discount. Okay, a huge discount when you make also a lot of volume. And you don't need to be a leather expert, you don't need to be a tanner to understand the supply chain world and to understand the volume pricing. So I found it super misleading. And this is why also the entire world is producing in China and not really in Spain, because China does have this huge capacity of production that Spain does not have. So you cannot produce the same amount in China compared to Spain. So very misleading and very disappointed from Tanner Leatherstein. And now coming to the second argument of Tanner Leatherstein, and I'm very disappointed about it. Just because I know for a fact that he made a video, he talked about it a few years ago, and it was the right opportunity, maybe the right time to speak very loud about it. And this is really the trick.
None of the brands these creators mention, Louis Vuitton, Prada, Chanel, especially Hermes, need to go to China for production. And here is why. Labels like Made in France and Made in Italy comes with strict restrictions. And brands at that level don't risk compromising that. It's just not worth it.
And I am so disappointed about Tanner Leatherstein because it did not mention the real trick, like the real deal. The real trick that luxury brands find to make more money from us, to lie about the quality, to lie about the made in. And this is really the real deal, the real trick. It did not mention that there is a huge shady gray area around the made in lapel. It did not mention that there is the legal loophole in the made in, which is if the bag is made with 80%, 60% of parts, spare parts, components, materials, fabrics from China, as long as the bag is assembled, and sometimes only glue, as long as the bag is assembled in Europe, this is still made in Italy or made in France. So this is the real trick. And from someone like Tanner Leatherstein who knows, like this guy knows what's going on. He knows. I expected that at least he mentioned this very shady gray area around the made in lapel, which is the trick found by luxury brands. So technically, this bag are still made in China. The next argument he used that I found also very misleading is that some brands like Prada, for example, have factories in Romania. So factories in Eastern Europe. So because they have factories in Romania, they don't need to produce in China. I mean, it doesn't prove anything. Romania, like many small Eastern Europe, they don't have the same production capacity compared to China. They cannot produce volume like China can produce, actually. And it's just, to me, showing me that it is very overpriced. Very overpriced. They find a new way to increase their margin and to make more overpriced bag. So in fact, this guy from TikTok is very right. He's very right about the 80% made in China, and he's right about the overpriced bag, and you are paying for a logo. And the last statement from Tanner Leatherstein at the end of the video is about the Hermes bag. So he claims that you will find a lot of fake in China, and he really showed also some of the images that are probably from him actually in China with fake crocodile Birkin bag. First, I went back to Hermes. I did the job actually. So Hermes made a statement actually, and it is also very, very shady. I found it very shady. So they show a picture of all the production factories in France. They also state some numbers. 74% of the Hermes products are made in France. We don't know about the 26%. We don't know about the 26%. They don't disclose anything about it. Where is it made first? Is it shoes? Is it accessories? Is it bag? So it will be that some of the Hermes bags are not made in France. A lot of you keep saying that Hermes bag cannot be made in France because Hermes does not have the production capacity to produce 15 billion of sales. So I went back also to the numbers. This is the sales report from Hermes, the financial statement from Hermes. Again, fact, numbers. While this is true that Hermes made 15 billion of sales in 2024, that doesn't mean that they sell 15 billions of bags. These are the whole sales. That include bags, but also accessories, clothing. And the real deal, which I found a little bit shady, is the fact that they don't break down the sales by category. They only break down the growth by category. So this is a huge difference. So in the 15 billion of sales, you cannot tell if there is 5 billions of bags or 10 billions of bags or 9 billions of bags. And you cannot really split the rest among the accessories, the clothing. You see, this is the type of checks, numbers, questions I was expecting from someone who is independent, from someone who is inside the business, from an insider. Now, the big question I want to raise from this reaction is that can we still trust influencers or experts? And I will put Tanner Leatherstein in the influencer category because many of these influencers rely on collab. On Instagram, it is a huge deal. Many of these influencers do receive free luxury handbags, goodies from Chanel, from Hermes. Yes, Hermes is also offering free handbags to some of these big influencers with millions of influencers. They also receive invitation for the spring-summer catwalk. They receive a lot of invitations. So there are a lot of sponsorship, free gifting, collaboration in this world. And it's so interesting also to see all these people who are very afraid to speak out, very afraid to speak loud about what's going on because they know that they are going to lose, for some of them, they are going to lose their free Chanel bags. Many of them don't spend 8,000, 10,000 on luxury handbags. They are going to make huge handbag reviews, okay? Very nice handbag reviews which are absolutely pointless, useless, no value. There's absolutely no value. But they receive this bag for free, okay? They don't pay any single penny on this bag. I went back to the website of Tanner Leatherstein and I checked the condition of the rip-off challenge, the handbag rip-off challenge, which is the handbag reviews of Tanner Leatherstein. And I found out that brands still do have to pay a fee. They still do have to pay a fee for the review. This is a flat fee of 1,250 USD, okay? Even if the review seems to be very independent, even if The brand will not see the review, for example, but the conditions are strict, but at the same time, you will see this flat fee. And now I'm going to talk very real in this video. Let's be real. Let's be very real. I find it very hard to believe that a brand is paying a flat fee for a review that might be negative. Again, I am inside this business. I know how things are working actually. And it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, it's very off or very weird. I have a huge difficulty to find that you can be independent while you are being paid. I will still watch Tanner Leatherstein review. I find them very interesting. I find that it adds much more values than many of these influencers that are just doing unboxing, luxury unboxing. At least it really breaks down the cost. I am still very disappointed because this was really the opportunity to speak very loud about what's going on. And it was probably the opportunity for Tanner Leatherstein to reinforce his honesty, his independence also, and reinforce the trust that some people does have in his review. But again, like I said, we cannot trust influencers, we cannot trust people on social media when it comes to luxury. And again, I think, very few people on social media really understand what's luxury. Luxury is not brands, it's not logo. Luxury is really a savoir-faire, a savoir-être, so knowledge. It's all about the knowledge, the savoir-faire and the savoir-être, like we say in French. It has nothing to do with brand, with logo, with how expensive it is actually, because now we know that expensive does not mean quality. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video about my reaction to the Tanner Leatherstein video. Please be mindful in the comments. Be mindful, be respectful. Let me know what you think about this video. I will be very interested to know what you think about Tanner Leatherstein analysis. Let me know if you agree with me or not. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. We are talking about luxury, handbags, fashion, how to dress classy, elegant, French and Parisian style. Don't forget to follow me also on my other social media, and I see you very soon for another video.